Today's video is brought to you by my Twitch channel and my channel's only sponsor, G Fuel Energy. A lot of these runs were streamed on twitch.tv/DemonJoeFrance, and we stream about 4 times a week over there, so I'd love to have you. You have no choice in this. Come by the streams or die. Link in the description. I also couldn't have grinded out all these Grandmasters without my crippling caffeine addiction. Use code NUT at gfuel.com for a percentage off your order, and every dollar made with my code goes straight to St. Jude Children's Hospital. If you're not a fan of energy drinks, might I suggest a personal favorite of mine, water. Without further ado though, enjoy the video. Yes, I know I'm late to the party, okay? Chances are you're watching this video and Fallen Saber is already the Grandmaster this week, but you know what? I did too many damn GMs to let this video go to waste, so I'm posting it anyway. I know 25 Grandmasters does not seem like a lot. I mean, the week before, I clocked in 42 clears of the Arms Dealer, but doing 25 Proving Ground Grandmasters is a whole nother story, alright? For this week, or, well, I guess last week, Bungie decided to give us ADEPT Palindrome on top of double all of your loot drops. The only catch is that you had to grind out one of the hardest Grandmasters of all time to get it. So that's what I did. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a quick loadout and strategy TLDR for how we got these done, and how we even managed to get our time down to 22 minutes. We're also going to look at highlights from all 25 Grandmaster completions, and finally, towards the end, look at every last piece of loot we got, specifically those ADEPT Palindromes, and see if we came away with any god rolls. Of course, also, it was a double loot week, so I am curious how many Palindromes I got for the 25 clears that I did. So first things first, let's go ahead and take a look at a TLDR of our classes and loadouts for Proving Grounds. Now, the loadouts aren't anything super crazy. We ended up running 1 Chaos Reach Warlock and 2 Ursa Titans for the majority of our runs. All of our weapon compositions were pretty much the same, running a Succession or a Long Shadow in the kinetic slot, along with a Void or Solar Pulse Rifle, and topping things off with Anarchy being our heavy. Now for the armor on our Warlock, of course we had the Geomag Stabilizers, and for the Ursa Titans, well, of course we had Ursa. Now obviously we went with Unstop Pulse and Anti-Barrier Sniper for our champion mods, as well as Grenade Launcher Scavenger and Finder mods. We did not end up using anything like Special Finisher, as we found that our RNG with ammo was good enough. We ended up using Concussive Dampener on our chest pieces, as that's very key for the boss room to ensure that you're not going to get one hit. And for the Charge with Light mods, Protective Light is 100% a must, and to charge Protective Light to get Charged with Light, I like to use Shield Break and Taking Charge on my armor. Now that we've gone over the loadouts, let's go ahead and talk about the strategy that we used for this Grandmaster. Now for the strategy, upon spawning in the Nightfall, we would immediately veer to the left and follow the red piping on top of the rocks. Before reaching the very end, of course, we'd make sure to take out any of the champions that are on the battleground, and then once reaching the top, we would deal with the unstop, and then deal enough damage to the boss that spawns, starting his immunity phase. We would then stick 2 Anarchy, 1 from each of the 2 people to bring the shield down, and then deal the rest of the damage, sometimes using Chaos Reach here as a time save. Now upon entering the land tank and making it to the tank room, we would alternate Titan supers at the top middle of the room, seeing as that's where the most of the ads can see you, meaning that you can generate the most orbs. Then we would clear out ads between supers, and the Chaos Reach Warlock would feed off of the orbs that the 2 Titans are making, and use his super to deal with the interceptors that are in the room. Now once all the ads are cleared, the interceptors are gone, etc., the 2 tanks would then spawn, and we would deviate to the bottom right of the room and repeat the strategy that we just talked about. However, instead of using Chaos and an interceptor, we're now using Chaos and the 2 huge tanks at the front of the room. Now once we clear the tank room, we then move on to the infamous rock area. To keep ourselves from dying to the rocks, we would have 1 Ursa Titan push towards the door while the other 2 teammates stay at the back and kill the ads. Once this is done, we would then push into the main room, pop Ursa once more, and then deal with the anti-barrier and the guards that he has, and then use a similar strategy on the next room until we open up the elevator. Now once we do open up the elevator room, we kind of just pop all of our supers and go a little crazy, since you get your super back in the boss room anyways. So once we clear it, of course, we then make our way to the boss room. Now once here, we have 2 people stand back inside of the incinerator and 1 person start the battle before making his way there too. This will keep the fireballs from tracking towards your team and wiping you whenever the battle begins. Once the boss is in the arena, we deal damage into the ad spawn, kill all the ads that do spawn, and then deal damage into the first immunity phase. Once this phase starts, we have 1 Ursa pop on the left side of the room to help deal with the unstop as soon as he comes out, and then we all converge on the other unstop as it slowly makes its way towards us. Once all the ads and champions are dead, we carefully time our anarchy shots on the immunity shield between the fireball waves, and once destroyed, rotate to the entrance of the room where we either pop Ursa or Chaos to deal with the ads that spawn. When all ads are dead, we deal boss damage until next immunity phase, where we take on yet another wave of champions. Once we choose which to focus on, 1 Titan will pop Ursa and we'll focus 1 down before going to the next. After this is done, we have 1 person push on the left side of the room, while 2 people push on the right side to get closer to the boss to be able to pop the immunity shield. This is done to prevent fireballs from causing a complete team wipe. Now once there, we yet again carefully time our anarchy shots on the shield. Sometimes we may distract the boss for our teammates during this, and once the shield is popped, we take out the ads that spawn, then deal damage until the boss is cooked. It's definitely a very simplistic way to put our strategy, but I'm sure you've seen enough Grandmaster guides to not really need our strategy specifically if you're ever wanting to get yourself a clear. I kinda just put this in the video just to kinda show you guys that all of these clears aren't done with the cheese, at least whenever it was in the game. We actually did all these runs legitimately. Now that we've got the loadouts and the strategies out of the way, let's go ahead and move on over to the important stuff, which is the loot. Now, I'm going to be going through all 25 GM completions that we got, showing clip after clip after clip, showing the loot, going over the times, etc. But I am missing 4 GM completions on my hard drive, but rest assured, I did indeed complete 25 of them. I know my Grandmaster report says only 24, but I'm counting that time that I got error coded in the boss room as my 25th, since I was there in spirit in a Discord call as my friend shared his screen, and PS, they did indeed get the completion, so I'm counting it. Now, let's go ahead and start off at our humble beginnings at GM number 1. This was our 3rd ever attempt at this Grandmaster, and we ended up getting our clear just at under 40 minutes. The time was 38:53, and I got 4 shards, 1 palindrome, and 1 exotic. Moving on over to the 2nd GM completion, we shaved our time down quite a bit. We got 33 minutes and 59 seconds, with the rewards being only 2 shards and 1 exotic. Then moving on over to the 3rd completion, it was 34 minutes and 23 seconds, with the rewards being 1 shard, 1 pally, and 2 exotics. Now, run number 4 ended up ending horribly for us as we ended up wiping to a rock. And yes, I know quite a few teams have wiped to rocks in this Grandmaster. Can we please get a praise in the chat for all the people that have been destroyed by our rocky friends? Now, we did end up bouncing back, so here is our actual run number 4 at 34 minutes and 27 seconds. Ended up getting 2 shards, 1 pally, and 2 exotics. Moving on over to run number 5, we ended up getting this one at 36 minutes and 8 seconds with 2 shards, 1 pally, and 2 exotics. Then moving on over to run number 6, this one was done in 34 minutes and 5 seconds with 3 shards, 1 pally, and 2 exotics. Now run number 7 up until this point was our fastest run. This is 32 minutes and 3 seconds, giving us 3 shards, 2 palindromes. This is the first time that 2 have dropped for us, as well as 1 exotic. Now run number 8 was me carrying a friend who hadn't done the Grandmaster yet through his first completion. This was a time of 37 minutes and 1 second with 3 shards, 1 palindrome, and 2 exotics as our rewards. Now run number 9, this is where I was error coded at the boss room, but upon its completion, it was at 31 minutes and 52 seconds. Now moving on over to run number 10, this one was done in 32 minutes and 19 seconds with 2 shards, 2 palindromes, 2 exotics. Run number 11 was actually our fastest up until this point at 29 minutes and 53 seconds with 2 shards, 1 palindrome, and 1 exotic. Run number 12 was actually 29 minutes and 8 seconds, so this was was our fastest yet again. We had 2 shards, 2 palindromes, and 2 exotics. Now run number 13 was actually a boss room 2-man, as one of our teammates ended up getting disconnected. As you can see, a lot of people for some reason are getting disconnected in boss room. We ended up doing this in 38 minutes and 30 seconds. I ended up getting 2 shards, 1 palindrome, and 1 exotic. Speaking of error coded in the boss room, run number 14, this happened yet again. We had a teammate disconnect and we ended up wiping here. So the actual number 14 run was actually 27 minutes and 26 seconds, our fastest run up until this point, with 3 shards, 1 palindrome, and 0 exotics. I believe this is the first time I didn't get a single exotic to drop for me, at least, you know, exotic armor piece. Now moving on, we have run number 15, which was a time of 28 minutes and 2 seconds. We got 0 shards, 2 palindromes, and 2 exotics. Now moving on from that, we have our next fastest run, which is at 24 minutes and 12 seconds, with 2 shards, 1 palindrome, and 2 exotics. Moving on from that, we have another 24-minute time, 24 minute 34 seconds, with 2 shards, 2 palindromes, and 1 exotic. Then run number 18, we have 24 minutes 30 seconds with 2 shards, 1 palindrome, and 2 exotics. Moving on over to the 19th run that we did, this one didn't exactly end well. Basically, our teammate Sentinel Shield had a little bit of erectile dysfunction, so we had to go to orbit and try it again. Upon trying it again, we actually got our overall fastest time out of any of our runs, which was 22 minutes and 28 seconds. We got 3 shards, no pallies, and 2 exotics. Moving on from that, we got run number 20, 24 minutes and 36 seconds, 3 shards, 1 pally, 2 exotics. Run number 21, 23 minutes 45 seconds with 4 shards, 1 pally, and 1 exotic. And then the last 4 were lost to the abyss. I do not have the clips of those runs, but I can assure you that I actually did them. So now that we've gone over all 25 completions of the Grandmasters, what is the overall loot haul looking like in terms of shards, palindromes, and exotics? Well, for shards, we got at least over 50 shards. I'm doing 50 plus because, like I said, I was not able to see the last 4 clips, but it is guaranteed above 50. For the total palindromes, we actually had a total of 35 palindromes drop for us out of the 25 runs, 24 if you don't want to count the time that I got disconnected, and the total exotic armor pieces that we got is above 30. So out of all of this loot, out of the shards, palindromes, exotics, what was the god roll palindrome count looking like? Well, out of the 35 palindromes that we got, we only got 2 main god rolls, and even though I do consider them god rolls, they aren't even 5 out of 5 god rolls. I was not extremely lucky with my palindrome drops. In fact, I did not get a single PvE palindrome that at least I wanted to keep in either the form of Overflow Rampage or Overflow One for All. If I would have got either of those 2 main perks, I 100% would have counted them as a god roll, but I only got 2 god roll PvP rolls, and that was a quick draw rangefinder and a quick draw rampage. As you guys can see on screen, these are the rest of the palindromes that I ended up getting, if you guys are curious on the rolls that I ended up coming away with them. Now, I also have quite a bit of shard storage going on in my vault. Of course, we did end up getting over 50 shards, and I mainly only played on one character this entire time, so how exactly am I storing all of my shards? Well, the Severance Enclosure exotic chest piece is a great place to store my shards. I'm basically masterworking this all the way to max, so that way I put 3 shards into it, and whenever I dismantle it, I get 1 shard back. This is the best way for me to store shards without literally having them go to the postmaster, or once that's full, literally being deleted into the void. So that is the way that I'm holding on to my Ascendant shards. And for a little bit of a bonus round, here is the loot haul from the Arms Dealer Grandmaster that I never made a video on, mainly because I was waiting on the palindrome, seeing as that's way more of an interesting weapon. But these are all the shadow prices that I ended up getting from the Arms Dealer strike that just happened last week. But guys, that is pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys did enjoy pretty much everything that I had to offer today. We had a really good meme intro, we had some strategy to talk about, some loadouts, went over all of the runs that we had on these Grandmasters, the overall loot haul, the god roll count, the shard storage, and even a bonus round of the shadow prices in the vault as well. But guys, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Thank you guys so much for watching up into this point. If you did, watch up into this point, if you could comment probably like peanut. Okay, if you comment peanut in the comment section, then I will like heart your comment or respond to you guaranteed, because you are a soldier and I appreciate your face a ton. Seriously, watch time means a lot here on YouTube, and if you watched all the way to the end of this video, that means a ton to me, and I cannot possibly explain how thankful I am. Not only for everyone watching, but for you specifically. Don't tell the others. But guys, that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you did like it, dislike if you did not, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you all next time.